Whatever everybody name's on my weasel, this is Phoenix Wright, this attorney. Case 5, Rise from the Ashes. We're in the middle of court. Now, she says the chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. We can see from the photo there's no knife. She presented this as the moment of the crime. But clearly there's no knife.
Objection!
I couldn't remember if which one he was gonna say. And you witnessed this? You saw this guy stab the victim with the knife? As I've already said, yes. I swear it on my finest salmon swirl lunch. Ooh. I'm sure that is a fine lunch. But isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. This is the photograph you took at the very moment of the crime, is it not? Then why is Miss Skye not holding a knife? Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Objection? That had to be the weakest objection ever, Edgeworth. Yet it was so stronger than your ever feeble mind, Mr. Wright. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after the stabbing. And how can you tell that? Blood splatter. Hey, see the dark crimson stains on the chief prosecutor's coat? No, it's in black and white. For all I know, that could be spaghetti sauce. I don't know. But it's a black and white see? But it's a black and white photograph. Yeah, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem, except you. Mr. Wright, are you going to just sit there and take that kind of abuse? Got a better idea? Objection! Wait, that contradicts what the witness just said in her testimony. Namely that she took the picture of the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it seems that was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it? If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice, but I'm not sure I understood it, but good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Skye was cold, calculating, like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. Of course she killed without pain. She wasn't the one being stabbed. It was a premeditated murder.
Objection!
Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the chief prosecutor's hand in that photograph. Are those gloves? Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on? If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. Well, not necessarily. Those gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation. Premeditated murder. Serious offense. Witness add this to your testimony. The murder was planned. The rubber gloves prove it. Boop, 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 boop. What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves? Like driving gloves? The gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They were rubber gloves of the kind used for autopsies. In other words, when the chief prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to do murder. It's the only possible conclusion one can make. Everything was planned. It was a premeditated crime. Yeah. Impressive. Sorry they took you out the forest, Miss Starr. Mista! This is bad. She's got them thinking this was all planned. If she can prove this claim, the trial's already over. Got to think of a way to show that this wasn't premeditated. Alright. We already read that. Well, if it was premeditated. If it was premeditated, I could claim. She wouldn't have had to find a knife, would she? She would have already had it. Would she not? She couldn't have known there was one in Edgeworth's car. I wouldn't even think of it. I mean, I'm sure most people have one in case of emergency or whatever. But I wouldn't bank on that if I was going to commit a murder. Well, premeditated one. Anyway. Anyway. Objection! Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell box lunches for a living, you know. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk. On French there for a second. Indeed, it is my knife. What's with this case? The bloody murder weapon in the red car? All belonging to the prosecutor there? The defendant is the chief prosecutor for the district, right? Mommy, are the prosecutors bad people? The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, rookie? In your testimony, you stated that Lana Skye planned this murder, and that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing, the murder weapon? Oh. This knife just happened to be in the trunk of the car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're gonna plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon. Order! 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 Great, now the tide is turning in our favor. Great show, Mr. Wright. Jolly good show. My sister's as good as free. Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Bah! The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. Anyone who sees or cares that lunch lady over there. Eh? The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing the prosecution need prove. Nothing else. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now. But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't, why would she have been wearing... I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought. How dare you! The powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now. Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. Ow, my hand. The proof is in the pudding. Ow! Ow, my thumb on the left hand. What the hell? The victim was summoned from the prop department, the police department, to the prosecutor's office. It does sound a lot like premeditation, doesn't it? So if I ordered a pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy? In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness. Ow! Ow! Finger, thumb, whatever. Well, the contradiction is far too obvious. this one off, so we don't even need to press it. Because we know from the autopsy, it was only one knife wound. So, objection! You say she stabbed him again and again, and again and again and again and again and again and again and again. But you couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise. I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr. Eh? What do you mean? I shouldn't have had to explain this. But take a look. The autopsy report states that death was due to a loss of blood from one stab wound. Aha! You're right. Good show, Mr. Edgewood. What a hunk. He's my hero, really. What about my objection? No one noticed? Well, witness? Oh, you got the crime scene said, right? Oh, thanks. I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now I realize that such mistakes are possible. So, you're saying you mistook something? For blood? When she looked at her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice. Why does everybody in this series have a black and white camera? In 2016. Ow! Remember, this game was like 2002 or something like that. It was made then. It was on the Game Boy. But it took place in like 2016. However, this wasn't added until the 3DS, which was later. Oh, not 3DS, excuse me, DS. This case, I mean, like, you know, still. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice. And tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify. Oh, excuse me. The red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was. Let me clear that up. Yes, muffler is a car part, but in this case it's referring to like a scarf. A type of scarf called a muffler. Ugh. Sure, let's press it. A red muffler? Yeah, it's like a scarf. The chief prosecutor always wears one around her neck. So she can be easily hanged at a moment's notice, I suppose. She's right. This guy was wearing a red scarf, wasn't she? Excuse me. Oh wait, you don't know that you just took that for splattered blood? Well, people often mistake my beard for a bib. Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. A judge with a bib. That's why this place feels so much like kindergarten sometimes. Actually, I do think I saw some traces of blood on her chest. However, the autopsy report is clear on this matter. There was only one knife wound. Apparently, Miss Starr isn't entirely sure of her own testimony. Mr. Wright, this is a chance. Chance for what, I wonder? Miss Starr has turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Showing her abilities as a detective really set her off. The short wick burns out the fastest. It's a scientific fact. Well, yeah. I wonder, wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, add more wax and even a really short wick will burn longer. Obviously, more scientific testing is required. Did she... Oops, shit. It's alright. I hate that it does that. Oh, that does give a hint here every now and then. She's clearly not wearing a muffler here. Objection! Miss Starr, I demand an explanation. Come on, dude. The witness is clearly not suited for detective work. What? The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you've proved it yourself with this photograph. Huh? That can't be. That can't be! The big Eddie Star allowed me to cheat that. How can this be? Only a professional lunch lady could be so utterly clueless. Congratulations, perhaps you finally found your true calling in life. Damn! Why so savage? Why so savage? Harsh words, but good. In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails. What was my objection, chopped liver? Apparently. But it was there, a scar. Not that, but something, right? Really? Well, now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but back to business. What? Very well, witness. Continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that. Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony. Most important part? The part where your sister stabs the victim? This next testimony might just be the moment of truth. Apprehending the suspect. I suspect? After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. Quickly caught her and explained her rights to her and arrested her on the spot. I believe that's the Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. And you have the right to an attorney if you don't have one. You'll be appointed one by the district. Something like that. No, I haven't been arrested before. Forgot where I read that. Well, anyway, I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile. Futile! You are quite determined about the scarf, aren't you? I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Star. It wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is a kind of snake. Don't bother me with details unless you want to get bitten. No thanks. Note to self, Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites. No such thing as a poisonous snake bite. Bites aren't poisonous. They're venomous. So, yeah, no such thing as a poisonous snake. Poison, let's put it this way. If you bite it and you die, if it's poisonous. If it bites you and it dies, No, I'm sorry. If you bite it and you die, it's poisonous. If it bites you and you die, it's venomous. Like a scorpion, it's venomous, not poisonous, because it injects it. Like wasps and bees, they're venomous. They inject their venom. Although normally it's not enough to, unless you're allergic. it's not really going to affect you that much. It's meant for like other insects and maybe smaller creatures. Unless you're stung like a crap ton of times. But yeah. Depends on the strength of the venom. Usually it's either hemotoxin or neurotoxin, which blood or brain. Well, not brain, nervous system, nerves. Which neurotoxin being worse? Well, depends. Anyway, enough about insects and their toxins. But yeah. Not poisonous snake bite, venomous. Like the poison dart frog, that's poisonous, not venomous. It secretes the poison on its skin, and it's transferred by touch, not injection. That's poisonous. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. An oil drum? Hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr. Guess you didn't want to say cougar. I suppose that might go over some people's heads. Cougar's an older lady looking for young men. I don't know, I would say in their 50s, 60s, possibly 40s. Not necessarily 40s, but an older woman looking for younger men. That's a cougar. Very well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you will. Apprehending the suspect. After the... Oh, wait. Excuse me. I see nothing wrong with that. How quickly, really? You could say quickly, but it could have taken you like 10 minutes, 30. How quickly is quickly? You said quickly. Were you close to the suspect? As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time. Maybe you should press her for more details. I'd like to see this on the floor plans, just to be safe. When Swain Tar was here. She was a visitor, thus she was parked in B. So you witnessed the murder from here? Here? That would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes? Is that correct, Miss Starr? Yes, that's right. But there's a chain link fence in front of you. I went over it, of course. Impossible! It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence, so she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast. Yeah, that fence was about 9 feet high, too. So how did Miss Skye not get away? So what did she say about the muffler, huh? Oh, I remember now. She mentioned the muffler. What exactly did she say? I don't remember exactly. I would have told you in my testimony. Cheeky. Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler. Just that one word? So, what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else? Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone. Her phone? She can't mean... By phone, you mean the cell phone discovered at the crime scene? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately? My memory... It's like a salmon heading upstream, you see. No, the court doesn't see, Miss Starr. Me stop! The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall. On the wall? That's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall. Apparently it was out of order, and so she used her cell phone? Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing? Whatever happened to good testifying? Testify. Of course, you should add this to your testimony. The things I do to please this rookie defense attorney. Oh yes, I saw it all. I saw it all how she tried the phone on the wall, but had to use her cell phone instead. Do you think you could restage your testimony for the court? Aha! Gonna ask the same thing. I'll only say this one time, so listen close, rookies. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. Then she picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled out her own cell phone out of her pocket. And during that time, you climbed over the chain link fence. Then when I boldly grabbed her arm, the chief prosecutor hung up her phone. And you saw her doing this. What is it, Mr. Wright? Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure you saw it. I'm sure you saw the flaw in that. Let's point this out. So, I can't exactly... So, Lana was on the right of the dotted line there. And you can see next to the telephone the partition blocking it. How the fuck could she see anything on the other side of it? I suppose she knew there was a telephone over there. Therefore, she could guess that maybe Lana was going for the phone, but she could have also went for the door. She wouldn't see it, so she wouldn't know. But she couldn't see it, that's the clue. Objection! Miss Starr, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Ms. Lana Skye. The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Well, who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this? I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me and I'll make you cough it all up. Let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Skye making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. That emergency phone was on the back side of this partition. Indeed, you were in B block. If indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it. I love this music. Cornered! Order! Order! What is the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch, she's coughing up lies! Lies! Grr. Fine. That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question? Tell us exactly what lie the witnesses told the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. Can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about what she saw. She lied about what she saw. In other words, She didn't see Miss Skye using that emergency phone. Does seem hard to imagine how she could have. Very logical. What's the matter, Star? Can't get your lunchbox. Mr. Wright, I hate to bother you while you're celebrating your victory. Why would Miss Star lie like that? Huh? Why would she say that my sister had tried to use the phone but failed? Doesn't make any sense. Why lie about something so insignificant? Oh, dang, she's right. I mean, maybe she really did see her try to use the phone. See no room for doubt here. You ordered the patootie on rice, right? Never saw that one before. Mr. Wright, I thought you had something here. Ow! Why would you do that? Ugh. One more try. Yeah, my fault. That wasn't on purpose. That was... I see it in your eyes. You haven't learned your lesson, have you? Tell us exactly what lie that this witness has told the court. Well, there's where the counterattacking is. We already read that too. She lied about where she saw it. She wasn't on B. She was in A. The only way she could see it. The only possible way she could have seen it. This guy tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it'd be pointless for Miss Star to lie about it. Pointless to lie, I see. But say the witness did actually see Miss Skye using the emergency phone. It would mean Miss Star witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? Now that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it! Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? All the testimony we've heard until now points in one direction. The place where... I didn't get to read that. The only way she could have seen the telephone was over here. However... as she's a visitor, she would have had to have been over here. But she couldn't. She couldn't have. But that now begs the question, how did she get the picture from the front? Strange. Anyway, the only possible place she could be is the security room. Remember, she was there delivering lunch to her boyfriend, which her boyfriend would be here. She couldn't be over here. She's not allowed over here. She doesn't, you know. So, only explanation. And shove it up your bum. This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room? Indeed, the security room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second floor so you could see the entire lot. She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are many other places where she could have seen the phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition is here. I remember in your testimony you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, Miss Star? How many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could be turned. Today a man who's gotten the better of Angel Star. Order! Witness! What have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better. I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished. And I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. The guilty? She talking about Miss Skye? Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Star lie? It doesn't make sense. Huh? She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. That truth still stands. You're overruled. It still stands. I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason. So tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright. Huh? Me? Who else? Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. The star witnessed the crime in the security guard station, but she lied and said she saw it from B block. It must make a vital difference, but what? What would change? The distance to the crime. It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime. My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at the floor plans and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see. What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Star, you witnessed the crime in the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Skye? Well, witness? You... Yes? You ordered the squid wheels, right? Right? The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. I was bringing a PB&J lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend. Boysenberry for the boyfriend. He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime in the glass-walled station. Before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. Run, 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 run. That's why I had to go through the visitors' parking lot in B block. It's quite a detour. Probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. 5 minutes? Not in those heels. This changes things considerably. But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic sport. You have a point, and the sport is a wonderful invention. Kinda, yeah. Excuse me, would you like another caviar lunch? Ah. Absolutely. Uh-oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Do I have any evidence to stop this? Do I? Yeah, actually. Wouldn't Lana have ran? She had 5 minutes to do so. She totally could have gotten a good head start. Why didn't she run?
Objection!
5 minutes between the arrest, 5 minutes between the witnessing of the murder and the arrest. Think about it. You can make pasta in that amount of time, if you like it al dente. I've got lunch boxes that tie pasta into knots, rookie. 5 minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange? If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor? I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey, don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone. But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run. But this time was different. This guy dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Well then, seems we've come to the end of this testimony. The witness has a grudge against the defendant, and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, is the next witness ready to go? Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history. We did it! We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright. That was too close. That was close. Real close. Buddy boy. I'm afraid that cough-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned. Hold Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? That's the ones you tried to foist off on me. I prefer not to take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence. What was that? Just another one of her trick lunchboxes. My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr. Ah. Is this your jumbo lunchbox? Woohoo! Triple decker. Out of deference to the witness determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence. Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. What's going on? What's she gonna pull out of her lunchbox this time? I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I went on looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not pick this up? No, you didn't. 2 types of blood were found on the shoe. One was, of course, the victim's. The other blood type matched that of the defendant, Ms. Lana Skye. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. What? There was blood found on that shoe? Try Lunchlight for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple, as I've already said. I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you had blood tests performed? Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics. In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence. What? You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence should be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is legal evidence, at least for the time being. Is that right, Mr. Wright? Seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective, as I mentioned previously. The shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Edgeworth. Is that right, Mr. Ray? It seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen. You could at least study some evidence law, really. The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness. Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged? Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Fine. Do do boo do boo. Boom, 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 boom. So you brought it to the forensics department, eh? If you're gonna submit something as evidence in court, you need it approved. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensics expert. She got away with her little coup because she used to be a detective. The shoe does appear to have blood stains on it. Well, the man was stabbed after all. That blood belonged to the victim, Detective Goodman. As I said, there were 2 types of blood found on the shoe. Can't say for sure the blood belonged to the defendant with a blood test. Fuck you! You claim to know something about blood tests, rookie? Okay. Well, speak up! Well, blood comes in 4 types, A, B, O, and AB. However, you can't tell from a blood test whether a murder was committed in cold blood. That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright. Actually, we can differentiate between millions of types with all the blood tests out there, which means that we can more or less narrow down any sample of blood down to just one person. Or so I hear. That's pretty specific. If I had a little more time, I would have gotten DNA test results. But they said there's very little doubt it could be anyone's but Miss Lana Skye's. So the suspect's blood was found on the victim's shoe. That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. I was afraid he was going to say that. Before I can continue, I'm out of time, blah blah blah, you know. Till next time, Mom's on Vibe Weasel. Stay zombie and I am out!